Hey, buddy. Okay, I wanted to kind of explain to you what we were talking about yesterday. Um, okay, so this is the best way for me to do this. So let's say this is you. Okay. Now, with you comes specific um, a way of thinking, right? So it's your mindset. So this is your these are your beliefs and your thoughts. Okay, and this is beliefs and thoughts about what you can achieve, who you are as a person, what's possible for you, how intelligent you are, what you're capable of, all these things. Okay, so as a result, what ends up happening is because this is your mindset, then your mindset also has, it causes you to feel a certain way. So for example, if you believe you're capable, and I know you do think you're capable, then you'd be more motivated. If you thought you were smart and you were intelligent, then you would probably feel kind of excited to do certain things and want to take on some challenges, which is what you're doing. So I can tell that you think you're intelligent and smart and capable, which is excellent. Okay. So in this situation, let's say out here, these are your grades. Okay. So because you feel like but your mindset, remember, let's just say that your mindset and your emotions are here, okay, because this is you. So let's just make sure this is you. Okay, so now you got to go for these grades, but because you feel motivated and you feel excited and you believe you're capable, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get the grades that you want. Okay, so that's great because you're coming from the right mindset and you're coming from the right level of emotions. Now, everything is going smooth in your life. That's great. But what ends up happening is there are times when you don't get the grade or you don't get the result. Okay? And the reason your mom wanted me to work with you is because what happens is if you don't get the result and you don't get the grades, what ends up happening is you begin to feel stressed or upset. Okay, and maybe other emotions, I'm not too sure. Okay, and as a result of you feeling stressed and upset, what ends up happening is your mindset takes a hit. So now, here, let's do it this way. So now what has happened is because you weren't able to do as well as you wanted, okay, this has caused you to feel stressed and it's caused you to feel upset. Okay, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit devastated. Devastated. Okay, so let's say you wanted a 95%, but you only got 80%. How would you feel? Probably start to feel these type of emotions. Okay, and then when you start to feel these type of emotions, guess what ends up happening is your mindset takes a hit. So now what ends up happening is the new mindset you would get is maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm not good enough. Now, this is what we want to avoid, because then what happens is you start to take this everywhere you go. Right? So what happens is if you start thinking like this, you take this everywhere you go, because you have to take your mindset. And the reason why I know that part of you is feeling this way is because these are the emotions you're feeling, right? And your mindset and your emotions are very closely related. So in essence, every time you fail, every time you don't succeed at something, that portion of you that's you becomes smaller. Okay? Because now you have more doubt. Now you're not as confident. Now you're a little bit more afraid. Now you're more timid. Okay? Now what happens if you have all this doubt, okay? Or you're not the optimum level of yourself. And now there's something out there that you really want. Okay, these are other things that you really want. Well, now what ends up happening is it becomes harder and more difficult because you've become smaller. Okay, so this is why we have to focus on your mindset, because we don't want you to think like this. Okay, this is the way 95% of the population thinks. They're like, if you get this, right? If you get this, then that means you're great. If you don't get it though, and what you're experiencing is that you're shrinking, you're getting smaller. Okay, we don't want that. What I'm trying to teach you is something very different. What I'm trying to teach you is, look, this is you. Okay, let's just fix that. Should be a circle. So this is you. Okay, and these are the activities that you want. Okay, so these are the things that you want. But what I want you to do here is I want you to change your thinking. Okay, so I want you to change your mindset. And that is, I don't want you to start thinking that this here determines your worth. Because this is what's happening, is you're going after this, and if you don't get it, you feel bad, and you feel stressed, and you feel da-da-da-da. And that is shrinking your mindset. Instead, you want to go, but you want to change, you want to adjust your mindset. Okay, you want to adjust your thinking when you go for the thing that you want to get. Okay, instead of saying, okay, this here is going to tell me if I'm smart, if I'm capable, if I'm successful or not, you want to go and start thinking that this is just an opportunity to develop myself, or to grow. Okay, so now what ends up happening is, let's say you don't achieve it. Okay, so you don't achieve this thing. Okay, so you wanted 95%, you only got 80%. I want you to change your thinking now. I want you to say, no, hold on. This thing does not define who I am. This thing does not affect me, because I know I'm still fantastic. Okay? And instead of thinking that, okay, this tells me if I'm smart, if I'm capable or not, instead what's happening is it's telling me that, hey, I just had an experience. I had an experience. And this experience now has given me, so it's an experience. So it's given me an experience. It's given me knowledge. It's given me wisdom. It's given me insight. It's given me some character. It's given me some courage. It's given me the ability to take a risk. It's allowed me to sort of go forward in life, right? So, you are you taking initiative, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, right? So you took some initiative. Okay. Now, with this 80% that you got all these factors. You got all these things. Now, what ends up happening is you start to get bigger versus smaller. Okay? Why? Because now you've got all this stuff in your repertoire. Okay? And our goal is for you to keep on going after things and not caring if you succeed or fail at them, but going after more of these things. Okay? And eventually, the plan is that you get so big and you grow so much that these things that you wanted, which are right here, this thing here that you wanted, it naturally comes to you without you doing anything. It just naturally comes to you. So, for example, you'll be doing so well at something, and then you'll get a good job. Maybe you'll find some really good friends in the process that are similar to you. maybe you'll find a good partner who thinks and acts and just sees and is so attracted to the way you see yourself. Okay, maybe what ends up happening is you get some good volunteer positions, right? Some volunteering positions, and you don't even have to do anything. They just come to you. Why do they come to you? Because you are functioning and you're behaving and you're acting in a very different way than somebody who is living in this small world where they're thinking effort and hard work determines their self-worth. And you're thinking, I'm already fantastic, I'm already good, and if I get it or not, all it is an opportunity to make me better and grow. Now, you do this type of thinking for the next 20, 30, 40 years, you're not even going to be at the same place as you were before. Because what we're focusing on here is expanding who you are. So expanding your thinking, your emotions, giving you that. Here's a couple of things that I also wanted to mention, which I didn't mention. But you also start to build grit, resilience, inner strength. Okay, these are the things that are going to make you grow. Okay, these are the things that are going to make you grow, and this is what we want to do. So every time you hit a so-called failure, there's some gold in it, and every time you experience that failure, you get gold. Now, every time you have that failure, you're not going to get stressed and you're not going to get devastated. Yeah, you might get a little disappointed because you didn't get the thing, but there's way more in that failure than there would be in that success, and that's kind of what I'm trying to teach you. So hopefully that this makes sense. If you still have any questions, let me know. But I just wanted to explain it visually so you'll understand why you're working with me. So the point is that how we're going to work together is I want you to start doing things, and every time you fail at it, start to focus on what the gold is behind it. And next thing you know, when you start focusing on the gold, you'll start to see your stress go down. Instead, your confidence will grow. And that's what we want to do. We want to build that confidence. And the top athletes, the top performers, the top anyone, every time they fail, they're like, okay, interesting, learn, move on, get bigger. And we want you to keep on getting bigger, because right now, when you don't, you get a bit smaller, and then you have to fight to get back to where you were. And then hopefully you get what you want, and if you don't, then you get smaller again. So we don't want to go small, big, small, big. We want you to get consistently bigger and bigger and bigger, growing your mindset, feeling better, getting more courage, getting more of these, great characteristics. And to be honest with you, this is how I did it. I was put on academic probation. Everybody told me I was going to fail. No one gave me a chance because I had less than 70% average in high school. But the one thing I did was I just kept on going for what I wanted, and I kept on failing, to be honest. But every time I failed, I picked up on that gold, right? I picked up on this gold here. And as a result, I started a business. Now I work with people all over the world. And, my life is very different than how it would be. And that's kind of what I want for you. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. Feel free to give me a call if you have any questions or you want to talk about it more. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.